Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Looking forward to doing another longevity and anti-aging based show. Everything is going to be by the books, straight facts, sharing with you the research, but also, to me, the 5 simplest ways to live longer starting now. What you don't want to really do is wait until you're 84 years old to begin to implement these things. Now, even if you implement them at 84, fantastic, because you're still going to be able to live longer. So this research, this is well done research, meaning that I'm not going to give you a lot of the fringe things today. I'm going to give you the things that we know definitively are going to help you live longer. Now, what does live longer mean? Well, keep in mind this. So average life expectancy for a male is about 73 to 74 years old. Average life expectancy for a female is about 77 to 78 years old. That's going to differ country to country, but never really more by about 4 to 5 years. All right. So it's not a dramatic difference. But again, when you're talking 4 to 5 years, you're talking about what, 5 to 7% of your lifespan. So it's actually, I guess that's a considerable amount. Which is true. And that's why, again, we try to study the longest lived people. And that's a lot of the work that I do and will continue to be at the forefront of my research and work, certainly that I'm doing, besides a lot of nutrition-based plans and really in the weeds plans that I don't often share. But what I do is I incorporate it into other plans, like behind the scenes, whether it's our gut healing plans or histamine or, immune imbalances. What I do is I work that in and share the foods without necessarily inundating you with the research. But what I want to do today, though, is just really get what I call brass tacks. It's saying that if you want to live an extra 10 years than that typical, let's say 74 to 77 years old, so you live 84 to 87, that's the goal. Now, there are other people that only live 64 to 67 that are doing the opposite of what I give you here today, right? So when we talk about average life expectancy, 74 to 77, we're talking about, the average individual, right? Some people, they're living into their late 80s. And I really went over why on previous shows, because there's 4 main causes of comorbidities or mortality. And that's the reason why 75% of people die. Well, if you can not be one of those, part of that 4, you're going to live most likely to your late 80s. And that's the minimum. So that's our goal. It starts with these 5, and then it's making sure that if you have any of the comorbidities, which is cholesterol, heart disease-based issues, blood pressure, stroke-based issues, type 2 diabetes. Okay, we need to get rid of those. And then cancer is that 4th one. And again, I've said this before, but cancer is a little bit more of that wild card because you just sometimes don't know that you're exposed to something. But cancer, oftentimes, at least 50% of it, some stats are like 90, 95%, but I'm not going to go that high because there's exposure to pesticides, et cetera. It's at least 50 to 70% lifestyle induced. So again, this is not to blame anyone. It's not to blame anyone at all. The education simply isn't out there to even share any of these things. So what I want to do is I need you to take care of the first 5. And then for sure, on later shows, I'm going to get much more in the weeds to say, okay, if we're doing this, we're definitely going to add a couple more years hopefully to our life, right? And we always say hopefully because we just never know. But what I can tell you is this: you at least need to try. You at least need to put yourself in position to succeed. And the earlier you start, the better. All right, so let's go over these right now. A lot of this research is taken from Johns Hopkins University, Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, and others, Harvard University, that all agree on essentially certain health-based parameters for longevity, okay? So the first one is this. I say this all the time. Don't smoke, really. Honestly, don't smoke anything. Do not inhale smoke into your lungs. It's a known carcinogen. and especially when done on a daily basis, leads to higher risk of cancer, stroke, and so many other issues because it's a known free radical and inflammatory agent. And we know inflammation is at the cause, right? Not the root cause, but cause of 90% of all illnesses. So what I want to share with you is this. It's just, if you can only do one thing, you just can't smoke. It's one of the worst things that you can possibly do for your health. This includes smoking anything. It includes vaping. It includes smoking cannabis. Any time you bring smoke into your lungs, it's not good for you. Now, I know that people will come with all these little nuanced things. Well, what if you're huffing in some type of medicinal-based tobacco that's all natural or mullein extract? We're not talking about that. Again, when I do a podcast or any health professional does a podcast, you are trying to reach the 99.9999% of people, not the fringe that is either good or bad. It doesn't, one doesn't have to be either or. It's just simply you can't go over every nuanced thing. But even still, smoking even mullein extract is not going to be healthy for you when done consistently, because breathing smoke into your lungs is a known carcinogen. That even includes lighting candles all around your house, believe it or not, if the house is not well ventilated. If you breathe in smoke, it is detrimental to your health. All right. So I just want to state that. If you are smoking, please stop. All right. So the second one is this. I mean, this is honestly such a big one. You have to move your body. Even if you have comorbidities, even if you smoke, even if you're overweight, you have to move your body. And I just shared research last Friday that I hope gave people even more hope. And it was a decrease in all-cause mortality by 40+% by walking 7,000 steps a day. So I recommend the 10,000 steps a day, and so did the research that I stated. But it still said that people that walked 7,000 steps a day still had a dramatic reduction in all-cause mortality. That means from all types of death, if you simply walk 7,000 steps per day, you're going to most likely live longer. So we just got to get our bodies moving. It's so important. Regardless of everything else, just walk. That's it. Just walk and just track it. Track it on your phone, track it on a watch, track it on a ring, whatever your biometric meter is, track it. And just make sure you hit that. And okay, one day you didn't get it. Just add a few more steps than the next day. You can still look at it over the course of a week. What's 7,000 times 7? 49,000. So, your goal might be 50,000 steps a week. You can do that. And you don't have to do it all at once. If you're walking 3,000 to 3,500 steps a day, like most Americans do, then don't go for 7,000 the next day. It's not a need. There's no need to do that. Do an extra 1,000 steps a day for a week or two, and then just continue to ramp it up until you hit 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. That should be the goal. All right. Yes, I love exercise. Yes, I love weight training, and all those things matter too. Yes, I love cardio. I don't love cardio, but cardio is one of the best things that you can do for your overall telomere length and anti-aging and all sorts of other factors. I'm not going to go into those today, but it does start with just moving your body. And honestly, it's like 30 minutes more a day than what you would typically do for walking. So for your normal walking for most individuals is about 3,000 to 3,500 steps. If you walk for 30 more minutes, it can be 30 minutes after dinner, 30-minute walk at lunch, or 15 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes after dinner. Get a dog. Adopt a dog, take him for a walk. These are things that you want to do. Now, if you do that, you're going to get at least an extra 3,000 steps. So you're going to be pretty close to that 7,000. All right. The next one is this: maintain a healthy weight. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea how this all of a sudden became a controversial topic. I put up a post on Instagram about, maybe a month ago. And people who know me know I'm just here to help. Honestly, I do a podcast every single day to share with people what I didn't know when I was younger, and most people don't know growing up, okay? So I said, I want to create a database that anybody can search at stephencabral.com/podcast, and it's going to have every health topic pretty much known to man. And it's going to be backed up by over 250,000 client appointments that I've done in my practice over 20 years. And I just want to share that with people. From someone that's obsessed with health and wellness and anti-aging, I want to share that with other people. So that's my goal. So the problem is, whenever you put something up, there's always going to be, again, a certain segment of people that want to paint you in a bad light, but really more importantly, they want to, kind of beat their own war drum and show how great they are. And again, we can all recognize those people, and I understand it. And I'm sure I was there myself years ago, and I've understood that you do not need to tear others down in order to lift yourself up. That's just not necessarily, I don't think it's the greatest habit to adopt. But anyway, I digress. So what I shared with people the other day was that you really should have a healthy BMI. You really should. Now, you can find out your own BMI. This stuff's all free by going to stephencabral.com/assessments. Figure out your own BMI. All it is your height and your weight. That's all you need to do to type in. Now, remember, that doesn't mean everyone's supposed to have the same body size. Okay? So there's for everyone's height, over the height of around 5'6", 5'5", 5'6", there's about a 40-pound weight swing. That's all healthy. Meaning, like, if you're 5'8", you can weigh between about 120 and 160 pounds, like right around there, or 125 to like 165. I don't have the chart right in front of me, but it's a big swing. And you're healthy with all of those, and that's because we know there are different body types. But of course, people online, again, we're talking about like less than 1%. They went bananas because they're in shape and their BMI was higher out of range, and they took all offense to it. Again, I mean no offense, but also you have to just relax a little bit. Take a deep breath and, breathe with me and understand that 99.99999% of the population is not in phenomenal shape where their body fat is like sub 18% for a female and sub 12% for a male. I mean, so we just kind of want to take a step back and just say, we're trying to help the greatest amount of people here. If you're have very low body fats and your BMI is a little higher, okay, well, like let's take a step back. But also at the same time, let's also honestly take an assessment saying you're in great shape. I have no issues with that. I'm actually at the highest end of my height and BMI. I've shared that before. I keep myself in shape, but do understand the more weight you have on your body, the more stress you have on your organs. So I'm going to leave it at that, but we just want to be careful here. The more, and I'm not preaching being super thin or anything like that either. I'm just talking about being at a healthy weight. I don't need you to have six-pack abs. That has nothing to do with health whatsoever. Like, honestly, I know a lot of unhealthy people with six-pack abs, so I'm not going to say that. So what I want to share with you is this. When you start to get 30 pounds over your ideal body weight, 25, 30 pounds over your ideal body weight, no doubt in my mind, backed up by clinical results, you're going to have hormonal imbalances, lots of inflammation. You're going to start to feel fatigued. You are not going to be at your best. And it's going to lead to potentially a dis-ease state. So that's why I state that. Again, it's all love here, but I wanted to share that with you because I have to, because I'm being honest. All right, the fourth one is this. Your nutrition matters. A lot of people have literally gone off the deep end with saying you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits your macros. Well, it's literally a diet plan that says if it fits your macros. And that means they can eat anything they want. Candy, cookies, crackers, ice cream, as long as it fits their macros. And the reason is that they can still lose weight as long as it fits their macros. I don't know where this came from, but we simply put how the body looks in a certain way over health. My goal is to help you. You can have both, right? But we have to get the body healthy. And we know it's healthy. So now we have these marketing diets is really what they are, where we're treating humans as carnivores, or we're treating humans as if we don't need a macro group like carbohydrates. Never in a million years, literally never in a million years, would humans have ever chosen to starve themselves of carbohydrates. That you ask a human 6,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, I'm sure a million years ago, hey, do you want this apple? And they're like, no, I don't need apples. It's completely insane. It's literally, but it's so popular. And I get it because it's like new and it's a fad, and it's actually not new. It's just everything old gets recycled to be new again. And it is very dangerous. It really is. I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into it here today. But a lot of those, they can't call them creators because they didn't come up with it, but creators of these have already started eating. One of them is eating white rice in their diet and some honey. Another one is eating sweet potatoes and some yogurt and other things. So again, just be careful. Be careful who you're listening to, because you're literally taking your life and putting it in their hands. And I just want to make sure that we do things safely. And if you're going to bet on one diet, bet on something that looks similar to the Mediterranean diet. I didn't create the Mediterranean diet, but you'd be hard-pressed to find more research on any one diet that's more favorable. Now, there are variations of the Mediterranean diet, a grain-free Mediterranean diet. You could do that. You could do a Nordic diet, which is very similar to a Mediterranean diet. But really what you want is a good natural anti-inflammatory diet. That can be paleo. It can be vegan. It can be vegetarian, right? But you just want a good, healthy diet that's not inflammatory. Makes sense, right? And you don't want to overeat, right? One of the things we know about longevity is that can't go high in calories, can't go super high in meat, but I'm not going to go over that today. It's just because it raises IGF-1, and we just know that that's not a good marker, that mTOR for living a long, healthy life. Help you build muscles, but not necessarily a long, healthy life. All right, the fifth one I wanted to add was this. This is not one that is commonly placed on lists like the Johns Hopkins, but it's stress. I'm telling you right now, you can do all of those things right. You're not smoking, you're maintaining a good weight, you're getting up and moving your body, even going to the gym maybe, you're making healthy food choices, but you are stressed with a capital S. Okay. This is going to, now again, luckily if you're doing those four things right, it will hopefully balance the stress. But stress out of all of those can be the thing that ends your life early. It can lead to autoimmune issues. It can lead to cancer. It could lead to high cholesterol. It could lead to high blood pressure. It can even lead to blood sugar dysregularity. So I just want to be careful with the amount of stress that we take on in our life. Now, I do agree that we can't remove all stress from our life. I am not an all rainbows and sunshine and unicorns type of person. I get it. I live in the real world. I work with real people who are really sick and family members sick, and I get it and I understand that. What I want to share with you is this. We have to be able to start to control the level of stress in our body. There might be a lot of stress on the outside of us, but we have to be able to regulate that sympathetic nervous system. We can do it through food, like healthy foods, nutritional supplements, getting to bed earlier, meditation, binaural beats, exercise, walking, sauna, like breath work. All of those things are what are at our disposal in order to calm that SNS, that fight or flight. So these are my top 5, without a doubt. It's pretty much corroborated along all lifestyle longevity-based practitioners. I'm going to get much more in depth. There's no doubt about it. I'll be talking about how many minutes to do sauna, how many times a week. Should you invest in doing some cold-based therapy? What type of binaural beats? Does meditation have any benefits? So I'm going to go over all of these different types of things in the future. But I'm telling you right now, if you haven't mastered these 5, those are the 5 to start with. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you. All the show notes are at stevencabral.com/2183. You can also pick up a free copy of my book there as well. That's just stevencabral.com. And of course, if I haven't already mentioned it, please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning into the show. It means the world to me to see this community continue to grow, and I have you to thank for that. Well, keep making good on our promises. This is our second major game-changing debut in the same month, in January, to start off the new year. And that is with our longevity line. This is a true science-based, researched, longevity-based line that took over 12 months of research and formulation. It covers everything from our advanced renewal system, which is state-of-the-art mitochondrial boosters and natural inflammation balancers. Plus, we have our new daily hair support, which rivals any of the best hair DHT blockers, and hair regrowth formulas on the market. Again, all based in science. We have our cardiovascular line, which helps with cardiovascular issues, blood pressure issues, and more in order to develop a nice, strong, healthy vascular and heart-based balance. We also have our new natural hormones-based line. This means if you have low testosterone, we can help you boost that naturally. Low progesterone, low estrogen, we can help you boost that naturally. Low DHEA, we can help you give that a boost as well. Amazing hormone-based line. We also then have our daily bone supports. We have our advanced CoQ10. We have our daily glucose supports. We have our daily vision and eye health product, which is sure to become one of our top ones out there, especially with how much we all view our computers and phones every single day. I can't go through it all right now, but again, there are so many amazing products that, again, are game changers. I've been using many of these in all sorts of different formulations, typically taking 3 or 4 different products to just get some of the nutrients in like a product like Cell Boost for the mitochondria for anti-aging for the last 3 years. I'm happy to debut these, and they are all 20% off for life right now over at Equalife. Head on over to stevencabral.com/longevity to see the entire line. Let us know if there's any questions. There's also a video on every single page explaining what that product is. Take advantage of it. 20% off for life over at stevencabral.com/longevity.